Uh, in terms of operational challenges, now this is very interesting. I would like to contribute. I would like to discuss so that people get knowledge enhancement over this. So this slide we have seen this number of 370 gigawatt, 87 gigawatt. Okay, the portfolio management of our renewable capacity at present. So it's mostly of solar and wind. Okay, so if you see wind is 43% and the solar is 34, so roughly around 77% roughly it is out of our total renewables, it is coming from wind and solar. Okay, what is our target looks like that we talked about. Similarly, we have CA studied one more target for 29 30. So those targets are available here. So that is a long time to go. So immediate target is 2022, which is short term. We'll focus over there. Now, what are the challenges like? We'll go one by one. Now, wind and solar penetration level. Because before we enter into our country level, we will look at what it looks like world level. Again, when we try to look at the law, we are banking upon certain documents which are available in public domain only, including China. Okay, so the information links have been given here. So how accurate is there? It is subject to the source which we have mentioned. So it is generally in the range of 13 to 14% in Europe, USA 10%, China 6.6%. Okay. Now let us look at our levels at the current position I am talking about. Okay. At the all India level, at 1819 is the first column represents the whole year penetration in terms of MU. The second is energy on a single day energy. Okay. The last column is the instantaneous megawatt penetration. Okay. To give a different perspective of problem. Now the India we have seen 8%, 15%, and 19.4%. Now we will see the numbers, certain astonishing numbers. I would use the word, particularly the southern region. I come from southern region, so and the change is already there. What we are trying to project in 2022. You talk about Karnataka as a year 23%. Yes, not a big number. You talk about energy in terms of day energy. 56%. It is not a small percentage. Now we talk about instantaneous percentage. What is the percentage we are looking at? 90%. Okay. To give a perspective, suppose Karnataka demand generally it varies from 7,000 to 10,000. Say for the better example, I use the word 10,000 megawatt. If his demand is 10,000 megawatt, okay, 9,000 megawatt is met from renewables. Can you just imagine the number? 9,000 megawatt out of 10,000 is from renewables. Okay. Now on top of it, what is there? We have nuclear, which is a must run. Correct. There is no other option. We have to take it. Okay. And we have Techminin at the central level 55%. It is shared basis. Of course, one area is we have market mechanism where he can explore the sale. Okay, that is one area he has got. But here the important point I would like to tell is 90% is the penetration level in Karnataka. In Tamil Nadu, 48%. Because what poses me a challenge is not the day energy or the annual energy. The main challenge is my instantaneous, which is pushing me hard. Okay, Tamil Nadu 48%, Andhra 71%, of course Rajasthan 50%, other regions Madhya Pradesh 42, okay, Gujarat 40. So something around 40 to 90% we are already facing. Even in terms of region, if you see, southern region is already facing up to 47%, western region 24%. So this tells that the renewable energy, whatever challenge we are trying to talk about, it is already faced in certain states, faced by certain regions. It is not nothing new. We know the problem. We need to come out with the solutions. That is why Government of India and other regulators, they are trying to bring in certain policies like round the clock, storage based, wind and solar mixed. Okay. So this just to give the problem perspective. Now, what are the challenges? We talk about variability, predictability, balance reserves, net load ramp, system inertia, reactive power management, voltage right through. observability, because this is where we would try to share our experience. We'd go one by one. Now, what is variability we are trying to talk about? Okay, since I belong to southern region, I have got more closeness to the data of southern region. So I try to use the southern region. Yes, for RE purpose, even SR region can be projected an all India problem. So we can analyze with this. Now over the months, if you see the southern region wind generation, it is in April almost nil. Okay, after October it is almost nil. Okay, but in June to October it is picking up. Somewhere in July, August it is full wind. Okay, now you come to that is variation over the year. Okay, now if you talk about variation over the days, you see the different variation at the second down level in terms of MU. Okay, this is in terms of megawatt, sorry. If you see here, the interesting part here, you need to understand. You see the 7th on a single day. Now, first we'll talk about different days. Okay, this is 8789 on the 7th of September. Okay, on 8th of September it is 5749. Okay, this is a day-to-day variation I'm talking about. Okay, southern region. And within the day, let us try to talk. Okay, something around, say, around 9,000 or 8,000 a year. Even if you take 7,000, coming to 5,000, 4,799. Even if you take 5,000. So on a day-to-day basis, also there is 2,000 mega difference. Between the day, also 2,000. It varies depending on the scene. Now this is about wind. Okay, in a solar, if you see, it is more predictable. Okay, as compared to wind, even in the variation throughout the year, in terms of the pattern, it remains the same. Okay, but what is the challenge in solar? Okay, just to know, understand the challenge. In summer days, okay, somewhere our summer in southern region is January to March, April. Okay, and other without monsoon, basically when there is no rain, no cloud, other times our solar is more or less steady. But of course, the depends upon the irradiation. My max may vary, but the pattern remains the same. Now we will see 8th August to 15th August, which is my monsoon time, basically cloudy day. This is a matter of 7 days. 7 graphs are over here. The pattern remains the same. Okay, but the variation in peak is varying. On top of it, there have been in between. If you see this blue color, okay, this the dip is due to cloud. Okay, something around in this example is around 800 to 1000 megawatts. Sudden dip has come, and I cannot predict properly because the cloud is one challenge. Okay, it's a moving cloud. It can be a steady cloud. What is the area of the cloud? This is one measurement which is hindering in terms of solar. Now, what is the top of it? What is troubling me? I said wind is somewhere in July, August. Typically, we are having a presentation in August, right through our problem period. My monsoon rains are coming. Okay, wind is at its peak. Solar is there. Okay, when monsoon is peak, there would be irrigation requirements I need to fulfill. There would be a runoff rivers. So I need to mandatorily run that. Anyway, nuclear is there. I need to mandatorily run. Plus solar is there. And solar and wind are must run plants. So which I would back down. So this is one challenge we have in terms of wind and solar. This is the variability part which we are trying to talk about. Now we will talk about the predictability part. Okay. A typical example we have tried to show on a 50 megawatt plant and a 650 50 megawatt block and a 650 as a whole. Okay, and even the forecast error we are trying to see in terms of actual, what is error percentage here? It is as per central executive regulator. Actual minus forecasted into 100 divided by available capacity. What is available capacity? In terms of solar plants, how much inverters were online at that point of time? That is considered. In terms of wind turbine, how much wind turbines were available at that point of time? In terms of megawatt. Okay. Now, what is our observation? Plant level, our errors are more. The more we move at the top, state-wise, our errors come down, region level further comes down, national level aggregation comes down. That means aggregation is good from the perspective of forecast. Okay. Of course, when I make this statement, it is subject to no constraints at the local level, be it plant level, be it at state level. If there is no constraint, yes, this is good. More you aggregate, more it is good. Okay. And in terms of capacity, we have seen that the lower capacity, like if it is a 50 megawatt plant, the error you can see from the graph, the 50 megawatt is the green color where the percentages are high. Okay. Here this shows that these error percentages within 2.5%, how much time of the time is there error. So those error percentages are going to be more in terms of lesser the capacity. Higher the quantum, error predictability is less. Now we talk about balancing reserves. What does it mean, first of all, reserves? Reserves means a sudden condition. We have seen that wind coming, going out, solar suddenly dropping. Okay. I need to have my reserves. Suppose the generation goes from solar or wind. Okay, basically RE. Whenever I say RE, we are basically looking at solar or wind mostly. Okay. So suddenly if solar or wind goes down, okay, I should have a generation which is flexible so that because my demand has not changed, connected demand is still remaining the same. I need to meet the demand. Otherwise, from the interstate grid, it will try to flow and it will deviate. So how do I make up? I should have a sufficient spinning reserves, okay, so that immediately I can bring. And the spinning reserve also I need to have flexible and fast, something like a hydro or gas, because our thermal comes with a ramp constraint. Okay. Now we would like to see this. And on the other aspect is, suppose the wind increases suddenly or a solar is peaking very high. Okay, I need to back down. Okay, so there should be margin in the existing power plants. If all are a technical minimum, from where I would back down. So when I say reserves, it is both upside reserve as well as the downside reserve, or increasing as well as decreasing. Now we will try to understand with this typical example, which is over here. So balancing reserve, my reserve is going down, okay, because before this slide, you see the wind variation is here. So my wind is coming down and increasing here. Similarly, all India demand is increasing here in the morning peak and evening peak. But if you see, in this case, wind is going down. That means my generation is going down, demand is picking up. Okay. And because of this demand, I'm already trying to use my generation. This is not generation. This is installed capacity minus the running generation. My reserves are going down. When I require my generation reserves, my reserves are not available. Similarly, evening again, my reserves, my demand is picking up. Wind and solar is going to come down. But because of this, I'm picking up my thermal loads. When I pick my thermal loads, obviously the margin available between the installed capacity and the generation comes down. So we don't have that. And coupled with, there is a net load concept that will come in the next slide. So the concept is reserves is a problem during renewable time. Now we talk about the renewable net load ramp requirement. Okay, what is this net load? Net load is nothing but here we will see the blue color is the forecasted demand. Okay, now the solar we are trying to take here, all India solar. This is how my solar will pick up. Okay, and this one more plot which we are trying to pick the demand minus the solar. Okay. Now, what that means? That means anyway solar I have to accommodate. Okay. Now the demand variation plus the solar variation, that is making my requirement from the conventional to come down. If you see this rate, this is the demand plus solar requirement, which is forcing the ramp rate requirement more. Okay, because this much of generation gap is being filled by the solar. That means my thermal generator has to go down. Another aspect is solar is coming at a higher, faster rate. That means my thermal has to back down fast. So this is my net load. Net load is nothing but total demand minus the solar and wind RE penetrations. Okay. That means what is the summary? Summary is more my RE, more my net ramp would be having effect. The similar thing we have seen in our southern region also. For a typical case, we are trying to plot. Similarly, in terms of inertia, we have seen that all India inertia generation has been increasing. Okay, but what is the problem is again we see the numbers. What is contributing to the installed capacity? RE is again increasing trend because as a philosophy also coal plants are almost becoming stagnant in terms of coming. Yes, there is a increase commissioning, but still it is coming down as compared to RE. So thereby, because this RE is inverter based are there, okay, certain types of wind they cannot give also. So basically it's a asynchronous or a non-synchronous machines. They are not trying to support us inertia. Even in the conventional machines as compared to the earlier days where we had much of an inertia, present inertia levels are coming down, even the conventional also. Now, in terms of reactive power, what are the problems like? So one problem we are trying to see. First, we'll understand the pattern of the voltage. Here we are seeing, you see that this is a 430 kV at Pavagada, which is a 2000 megawatt pooling station, continuously on the higher side. You can see at the night, there are so much of high voltages over here. Okay. Now, can I tap change, optimize my tap change? If you see, it is all in the first quadrant. Okay, that means my high voltage is on the 400 kV as well as 220 kV. There is no possibility of a tap change. Now, on top of this, solar is not there. So generation is not there. Lightly loaded lines because it is basically for evacuation of those lines. And on top of it, already we are having low voltage, high voltage due to low demand. Okay. On top of it, why no generation? These solar plants are connected with cables. They do contribute capacity effect and high voltages. Okay. Now in southern region, I am other regions at the state level in their PPA agreements. This one significant, kindly make note. There is a PPA clause which talks about that if they draw war from the grid, they have to pay at a certain rate. Okay. Earlier, southern region was default a low voltage scenario. Maybe some PPAs they have made, and that has become a standard, and that continued. Now, what does that mean? That means generator is not going to absorb anything. Either he will inject or he is going to operate close to UPF. Okay. That means he is going to add a problem to us. And only good aspect is this is. And another aspect is there is no commercial disincentive for the MVR absorption or injection, even at ISTS level. Now, KPTCL has proposed in their KRC grid code. Okay, there is a committee, KRC grid code review committee, wherein SRL is also one of the committee member. In fact, I along with my boss we attend. That's how we got this update. So they have proposed. In fact, they would be the first. Even at the CRC level, we are not in front. They have proposed, it is a proposal to implement a commercial mechanism for the VAR aspect from the generator. Okay. Of course, at the intrastate level, for the state, it is there, not for the generators, not even for the conventional. Okay. We could understand that, okay, is it a problem of PPA or whether there is feasibility of MVR? We try to do MVR testing at this MP Kunta, okay. Wherein MVR testing was sorry, not NP Kunta, at Pavagada, okay, where we have tested it, okay. We understood that there are three methods: PF method, KVR method, and percentage control method. And here the table indicates for each inverter how much is the capacity. Like Sungrow for 2.5 megawatt inverter, individual inverter, 1.77 MVR is the absorption capability. It's a very good capability. So we have tested over here. So that was there. And here just to show you that Hawaii Huawei inverter, you see there is one whether they can support in the night. there is, I hope the screen is visible, reactive power output at night. Okay, there is one feature in the inverter where we enabled for the testing purpose, and a limited MVR we have tried to test. You can see this is the night where we could get 30 MVR from that operation. Of course, this is only a 50 megawatt hour plant. Okay, and higher side also we are limited, but we could get 30 MVR without any generation. To establish that, yes, in solar power parks, if with inverter we can get the support. Okay, now we have already given instruction to the regional entities, because they are no more part of state grid. They have to come to voltage control mode, not in the PF control mode. So because their PPA is not valid when in terms of MER part, because they are not part of a state grid. Now they have asked a certain time, so we are waiting. Similarly, against the wind, okay, we saw that wind also there were issues. There are the same PPA problem. Okay, they were not doing. Similarly, on 25th and 26th July, we conducted the test. Typical profile, how it was happening was up to certain point the injection happens in that Urvakonda farm. It's around 1000 plus capacity. After a certain period, it start absorbing. This is the normal profile. Okay. Now, what this means? We have tried to put for 2 days during our test. The top one shows the normal voltage profile, the green. The bottom one shows the blue color. Okay. And the certain important aspect, this particular station was never below 400 kV. Our nominal voltage is 400. Most of the times it is above 415 kV historically, right from the beginning. Okay, this one day when we tested, the voltage came below 400 for the first time, and we did not open any lines. Normally lines we keep opening. So that means it was establishing that there is sufficient reactive power available to contain voltage at that power plant itself, so that it doesn't pass on to the voltage. Another important aspect we learned from that experience was there this W-fed induction generator type 3 is there, where AC converter is available, where it can have a 30% of the rating. And if you see the individual profile, okay, after the 20% rated power, that means unlike solar here, night mode was not there. So if generation is there and if it is about 20%, okay, rated power, okay, you see the bottom portion absorption. It is almost equal to the injection side. That means if there is a injection in terms of megawatt, we have good amount of, and over 20%, we have good amount of MVR absorption capability also. Only thing is they need to move to voltage control mode, but this Urvakonda plant is connected to state grid, state 400 kV and under the state control SLDC. So they need to modify their PPA after the approval from SERC. Already the issue is flagged, they need to take up. Okay, now we will talk about the voltage right through. Sorry, these slides got messed up. One slide. So what is voltage right through? Earlier there were few instances. We have just shown over here. When the voltage comes down, okay, for a moment due to a fault, okay, it is not sustaining and the loss of generation in wind is happening. Few examples have been shown here, that from 2013 to 2015, close to the tune of 1000 megawatt. Earlier on 2013, southern region was a separate grid, and our power number was around 1000 to 1400. Just imagine 1000 megawatt odd going out. It is nothing but losing by 1 hertz. Okay, if I am already operating at 49 something, I would end up close to 49.8 hertz, sorry, 48 hertz also. So that was the danger we are living with. One example I have plotted here. Now, based on which we have filed a petition, okay, and a certain modification has come. What is the regulatory mandate over here? Okay, earlier to 15/4/2014, there were no provision of LVRT, but unfortunate part was most of the wind, particularly in southern region, has come during that period. Okay, and in 15/4/2014 there came an amendment, okay, which said 66 kV and above LVRT would come into picture. The recent amendment which talks about, it talks about 6/8/2019, wherein 33 kV also is covered. And prior to this, whatever local study was there, that continued. That means earlier you had means you had, you did not have means you did not have. So much. Only thing we are waiting for the life to be over. Okay, that is the unfortunate part. The curve is explained over here. So one more slide is there where we will talk about. Okay. In terms of observability, what is the challenge? We talked about out of 100 gigawatt, 40 gigawatt is going to come from rooftop. What about the visibility? It is a rooftop. So what is the visibility? It is going to come. Operator is going to be blank. So some SCADA part has to be thought of. I am not sure whether any visibility is going to be coming in the future. So at least in my knowledge, it's not there. So other associated challenges, we have talked about SCADA issues, the data which we get from the generator plants. So sometimes SCADA goes off and the generation shows constant or comes down. Okay, is it due to generation has gone down, or is it due to cloud cover, or is it due to SCADA? Okay, this is one challenge. Hydro part we have talked about, technical minimum we have talked about. Okay, then there is a backing down. When we talk about, there is a certain aspect where we one particular plant ISS, they have more than 50%, okay, share like Kudgi. So other people are not able to surrender there. One challenge is there. Protection. Now what is happening? These people get at 33 kV, come to a pooling station, okay, then production coordination is difficult at their place, and there have been tripping, and because of not properly coordinating, 220 kV site is getting tripped. Okay, now we are taking up and they have been installing. Another area is control area jurisdiction. When the RE generator comes up, okay, there have been clear cut in the grid code. Okay, certain categories has to come to RLDC, certain has to come in state load dispatch center. But in between there is one more category, although is connected at state level, they have facilitated them to come to regional level. Okay, I'm not going to what category. Earlier they are telling that this is usually varying, so I cannot handle the deviation. So CRC has come out with a regulation and said, okay, this would become the regional entity. So you don't worry about the variability part. Okay. Another important aspect is by planning criteria, 2013 CA criteria, it allows for only N-1 is allowed. Sorry, no N-1 is not required. Only dedicated lines is sufficient. Okay. That means every pooling station, at least in Pavagad, I can say, one line of is connected from power grid to 250 kV, 250 megawatt pooling station. That means anything happens, the 250 megawatt installed capacity is going to go out. One more problem we encountered, anti-islanding protection. There is one anti-islanding scheme. That means they are not supposed to operate in islanding mode, at least as of now. Okay, so whenever something happens the grid, this anti-islanding protection comes into picture and it goes out. It basically trips. Okay, but we observe that even while charging the 400 kV line, this relay was getting activated and it was getting tripped. Okay, but it was more sensitive. Now it has been corrected across southern.